friends is not only do you guys understand each other because you have known yourself because you've known each other for so long, but you can also like really rely on each other because you realize this person is gonna be 100% real with me. Like if you can't, like if I ask for a favor and you can't, you'll just straight up tell me rather than waste my time and be like, okay, I'll think about it, or like wait till tomorrow or wait till next week or whatever.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Amara. I'm kind of excited. So yeah, it's great to have you back. We never call each other usually, but in this way, at least we can hear each other voices.
I guess like that's the thing like that's the thing with friends. Like I normally text almost everyone or I send formal emails. I only call my friends, and even when I even if I call a friend, like it's not it's not a usual occurrence. I think I've only called you like 5 times in my entire lifetime.
Yeah, that's way more less than the number of years we have known each other.
uh,
But it's totally okay, fine, because we don't need to call each other every day or even every Eid, because we text each other whenever we want. We have casual conversations, and we only call when there is something which cannot be explained on text. So it's totally cool.
Yeah, that's true. And like you don't have to worry about your friends misunderstanding you on text because like a lot of people say that when you text each other, it can cause misunderstandings, which is why calls are better. But I think that's just a boomer thing.
Maybe it happens in the relationships which are not so real like ours. With the kind of friends we are, we don't need to hide anything from each other. We know each other too well. In fact, we have known each other's genuine versions. When you haven't gotten into professional life, you haven't started adopting formalities, you are just too real, too cool, and too good to be true. So knowing a person from that time is much different from the people you meet later in life. They are your acquaintances, your professional relationships, and so many other fake relationships you have to carry anyway. So it's different from that.
Yeah,
What do you
I
say?
yeah, I 100% agree. Especially about the part where your friends actually know like who you genuinely are, because the person you are with your friends is completely different from the person you are with other people. With your friends, you can just be yourself, and you know things about me that I would find like I wouldn't be comfortable sharing with a lot of other people, like acquaintances and coworkers. Whereas, like especially in like your workplace in a professional setting, you present this version of yourself that is acceptable for the workplace. So if someone does like you, it's they like that version of you. They don't necessarily like you as a person. And that's why a lot of people get really confused when it comes to are your coworkers your friends or not.
Yeah, that's very true, because in my work experience, I have been at multiple workplaces. I was usually teaching in different schools, and there are a lot of people, different types of people. Some try to be your friends, but for your gut tells you that they're not your friends. It is something built in. You can tell which person is your friend and which is your not. So yeah, I have made friends at workplaces, but they are definitely not the friends, the friends we are. No matter after how long we see each other, we are so happy, so genuinely happy to see each other, and we start gossiping like there's no end. There's there does not have to be a formality either, like how are you. We just too happy to see each other, and we are the teenagers again. So there's a difference between the real friends and the friends you find at workplaces.
Yeah, like especially when it comes to like in the workplace, just because someone is friendly, that doesn't mean you're friends. Like for me, like a cardinal rule to judge whether someone is friends or not. If I uh if like share things outside of work with someone, or if I meet up with them outside of work, like I don't have to, then we're friends. Otherwise, we're not friends. Like if we're just like when you're with someone in the same space for like 8 to 10 hours, it's hard not to be nice to each other because you're trying to like make this like you're trying to pass this time as easily as you can without causing problems. So everyone's going to be friendly because but just because you're friendly doesn't mean you're friends. Like if you don't speak to each other about anything other than work related things, or other than work related people, you're not really friends, are you? Because you haven't really shared a genuine connection. You haven't really shared your genuine concerns and thoughts with each other.
Yeah, I think at workplace, this too, as you said, you are very right. And I think there's another factor. There's, your competitors and there's kind of competitions and I don't know, some kind of jealousy, which I don't understand. That always they are hiding some kind of knives in their hands. And even the hugs they give you, they have sometimes, in fact, most often they have knives hidden in their sleeves. So it's hard to trust people at workplace. Somehow they are so willing, so ready to hurt you, to walk over you for some unknown reasons which I don't understand.
Like a lot of people don't realize that being passive aggressive is also you're just being aggressive. So just because you're nice to my face and then like uh, but then you're setting up traps for me in the workplace rather than treating me with respect and like treating me as genuine competition and doing your best and letting me do my best, and then we'll just see whoever comes out on top. Rather than doing that, you create problems for another person in order to hold them back. And then you act like, and then you act all friendly, and then whenever you need a favor, you're like, we're friends. So like we're friends when you need a favor. Otherwise, you're like, you can't even be a decent coworker. Like, what is this
Yeah,
behavior?
what is this behavior, Pooja? Like, seriously, I don't understand people at workplaces, most of them. Although there are some nice people too, ended up making some friends over there, like one or two, a couple, or maybe three, not more than that. Somehow, I think I have it in my gut. At workplace, many people you interact with, and many of them are even nice too. But I know which one of them I have to be friends with and which one of them I have to avoid. So yeah, I ended up working at the 3, 4 workplaces. I ended up with a couple good friends. I can summarize in this way. So
Huh.
yeah, you can find friends at workplaces, but you have to avoid the unnecessary crowd. You don't have to carry them all your life just because you knew them from that one workplace.
Yeah, that's true. And like another problem is like when people aren't really sure whether you're friends or not, with your coworkers, there's a lot of expectations. Like you expect them to treat you like a friend, you expect them to be there for you like a friend, but like they're not really a friend. They're just nice to you because you work in the same place. And like I
Yeah,
thought you
that's
were a
true.
friend and you did this to me, and the other person is like, oh, we're like you don't even know when my birthday is. How are we friends?
Yeah, that is so true, but I act like I act like a closed shell at workplaces. People always complain, you know me, I talk a lot. I talk about everything. I'm so frank and I love to joke around and be funny and stuff. But people at workplaces always assume that I'm some kind of rigid and non-talkative person who never speaks and does not share a bit and stuff like that, because I do not open at workplaces. I know this is a place to work at, and I'm not here to make friends. So they ended up thinking that you are a little too proud or too rude, but the truth is I don't want to give them fake expectations by being extra nice to them or telling them my personal life or past life stories.
Like this is a huge problem in Pakistani workplaces where there isn't like a very professional or corporate culture. People will like there's a lot of gossiping, and if you don't indulge, if you don't act all friendly, they assume that you're rude, you're proud, uh, or like best case scenario, they just assume you're shy. Like why indulge in all this unnecessary stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not happy at my workplace most of the time. It's not like I'm unhappy too, but this is not the place I am here to enjoy. It's not the place I came to enjoy. So if I want to remain myself and just do my own business and mind my own business, it should be okay. I do not have to laugh at your unnecessary jokes. It's not funny for me at the workplace.
Yeah, that's true. Like be minding your own business is like the most professional thing you could ever do. But rather than appreciate your professionalism, you're like criticized for it, which is so it's counterproductive because if that's how everyone is, काम कौन करेगा?
Yeah, that's true. But I think it's different for different people too. We are a little, I think, too biased about our friends, maybe because we have seen what friendship can be like in our case. We know how genuine it can be. So that's why we avoid unnecessary friendships. But for some they are, I am an introvert, I know that, and but there are some extroverts out there too. So maybe they actually enjoy their work. I doubt that, but some people seem to be really having fun at workplaces, which surprises me. But I'm sorry, I am not having as much as fun as you are. So I remain quiet and mind my own business and finish my job and take off and go home. And at home, I'll be able to enjoy finally.
It's not as though we're incapable of making friends at the workplace. Like you and me both have friends at the workplace, people who we are still friends with, even though we don't work in the same place anymore. Like those were genuine friendships.
I ended up making at least two genuine friends from each workplace I have worked at. But the rest of the how do I say it? The crowd, the mass, the overall environment at the workplace. Somehow it seems like all of the big pillars. You know what I mean? The big pillars which are making up the workplace environments. The people who are there for much longer than you, and they are active and they know everyone, and they take everything in their own hands, and they have control over most of the decisions, work related and non-work related. You know the kind of people I'm talking about. They seem to be too indulged and too happy about their work, and I don't know, it's their curiosity becomes their responsibility or what. They want to know and want to get you involved in rest. They want to make you part of that chirpy environment too. And I'm sorry, I never been part of that chirpy environment at the workplace. I make friends, but I seek my own kind, the one I know I will vibe with, not those fake laughs at the workplace.
You mentioned that these people are like too interested in like in their workplace or their work. The problem is they're not really interested in the work, or they're not really involved in the work, because if they were like 100% focused on what they would do, they wouldn't have as much time to like dig into what everyone else is doing. Their problem is basically they're social for the purpose of lobbying. They're not social for the purpose of team building, which is completely different. Like for just lobbying, it's in order to maintain this like social um, like this social status of some sort that you've invented like in your mind in the workplace. Like I can call in favors from anyone.
Yeah, it's not that they're always wrong. Some of them are actually really nice. It's just that I don't feel like I can connect to them, or I want to be their friends. At my last workplace, there was this senior lady. She was our kind of boss, and we would had meetings, and me and or another friend, Ifra, if you remember, we were at the same workplace, and she was both of our bosses. Naturally, we would always be together. Me and Ifra, we would always sit together whenever we would get the chance and talk and laugh. And but when it came to rest of the staff, I would zip up again and wouldn't even say a word. So it bothered them a lot. Like, she can be chirpy and happy and talkative to her friend, but she treats rest of us like she doesn't even know us. But maybe they are not that wrong. I should have behaved a little better to them, but I think that's how I am. That's what an introvert is like. You are comfortable around a certain set of people, but rest of the people, you don't have the will or energy to get involved with them.
Not everyone is an extrovert. Like not everyone needs that constant like social interaction with from other people. A lot of people really just need to be left alone with their thoughts, and then once you can like really focus on yourself, then you can better focus on what you're working on. That's also true. But I think
Yeah,
the,
that's true.
the problem is being respectful towards the other person, regardless of whether they're an extrovert or an
Yeah, that is true. I mean, if I'm not indulging in your group chats or the extra parties you are having, but at the same time, I'm not asking you to stop having that fun. It's just that I don't want to be part of the parties or the fun you are having. So if I accept that you can have fun at the workplace in your own circle, you should also accept that I'm kind of the person who is not comfortable in those kind of parties or fun activities. So it should go both ways. Not all people are same. If I understand that you want to You need to have that kind of stuff at workplace. You should also understand that I need to be left alone at workplace for most of the time.
There shouldn't be this resentment towards the other person. Okay, when everyone else is doing this, why can't you? Why is there 2 3 people who don't come to every event or who don't come to like every after party? Like it comes
Yeah,
down, huh, like you're not obligated to be there. Like you're just obligated to come to work, do your job and leave. Like whatever happens afterwards, you like, if it's nice if someone invites you, but they need to be respectful of whatever your choice is, whether you decide to come or not. A major problem is when this is used as an argument against you in the workplace. Like rather than evaluate you based on your work, sometimes people will bring up, oh, I don't want this person on my team, they're not very social. Like whether they're social or not, it doesn't matter. What you should really be concerned about is, do you want to
yeah,
work with
it's
this?
like they don't participate, they are not active.
It doesn't matter if how proactive they are or aren't. If they're a part of a team, like they're going to be given instructions and you have to evaluate them based on how well they follow those instructions, based on how well they do the job that they were assigned. Personally, I have no problem working with people that I don't like. If I respect you professionally, if you're good at your job, it doesn't matter how I feel about you. I'm still willing to work with you, and like normally it works out fine. But when you lose respect for someone professionally, like that's a major problem for me, because I will lose respect for you professionally if you're not good at your job and you're not willing to accept it. Like you're struggling and you're not willing to accept that you made a mistake and you're not willing to move past it. That's when I lose professional respect for people. And once I lose professional respect for people, then it's difficult to work for them, because why would you assign a task to someone who is incapable of doing it? That's wasting my time and that's wasting their time as well, which I really don't like. I mean, obviously this is a rant, but I really don't want this to sound like all we're doing is like bitching about other people, because that's not true. Because like I mentioned before, you and I both have really good friends from our previous workplaces, and we both can respect differences in the workplace. Like if someone's super extroverted and they want to socialize with everyone, great for them. And like that is like it's a good skill if you're working in, like, if you have a certain job, right? Like it's like certain job descriptions will require that you're very sociable and you're talkative. But if you're, say, like if you're a librarian, you don't necessarily need to be extroverted, do you? In fact, it's better if you're introverted, because then you're letting people go about their business in their own time and you're not interrupting. Because like normally when you go to a library or you go to a study or something, you want to be uh you want to be left alone so you can really focus on your research for your book or whatever.
Yeah, I think at workplace, my all energy is directed toward the task I'm given. So I'd like to conserve the rest instead of involving in trippy conversations and unnecessary activities. Maybe it seems rude to them, but I think it's okay if I don't want to get involved in that. I'm not judging them for having those activities, and they should not judge me for not getting involved in those activities. I just have a different idea of a workplace as they do.
um, um like I completely understand where you're coming from. Like I think the major problem is understanding whether someone's being rude or someone is like, that's just a personality trait. Like if you're rude, people can tell if you're being rude. Like you make inappropriate comments, you're like you don't respond, you like you can tell, right? If you're introverted, you're just quiet and you're reserved. That's not being rude. Like when someone speaks to you, you answer whatever they ask. If you're nice to people, like you're like when you go to, like when you meet someone in the workplace, you greet them and then that's about it. You don't indulge into personal conversations. But the thing is, you have the courtesy to at least have like, you like, small talk isn't your thing, but you have like the courtesy to at least greet them. And if someone like invites you, you're polite enough to decline. You don't just ghost them. The same goes with extroverted people. Just because you're extroverted doesn't necessarily mean that you're not crossing boundaries. Extroverted people can be rude as hell. And like one of the major things that I've noticed about how extroverted people are rude, like it's not just when someone's being aggressive and someone's being loud that they're being rude. You're also rude when you can't respect that two people are having a conversation. You're not invited. They didn't ask for your input, and you just jump into a conversation. Like this is a major problem that I've seen with some extrovert people, is that when two people are having a conversation, they'll just jump in out of nowhere, and they won't even let people finish what their sentence. Like mid sentence, they'll just jump in and like bulldoze the conversation. And sometimes they don't even have a clear idea of what these other two or three people were even discussing. And when you point it out, they're like, "Oh, they're
Yeah,
rude."
that is it reminds me of, yeah, it reminds me of some particular occasion. You said it's so right. They jump right in the conversation, and when it's clearly saying on our faces that you are not invited, but they don't get it that it can be about the two people, or they just don't want you to be a part of it. They think that just because they are extrovert, it's their duty to know each and everything and interrupt in each and everything in their sight. So yeah, it has happened many times, but before you mentioned it, I never realized it was rude. I just thought it was an extrovert thing.
Hey, that's just being ill-mannered. There are plenty of extroverted people who are really well-mannered, but there are extroverted people who lack manners as well. And interrupting conversations is like a major sign that, you really need to work on being less rude. And just because someone didn't invite you to a conversation, or someone didn't invite you to like a gathering or something, that doesn't make them rude. You showing up without an invitation is what makes you rude. Like being an extrovert is not an
Yeah,
excuse.
yeah, that's very true. Because you're extrovert, you like to talk to people, but you should understand that not all people are like you. Some of them really want their personal space to be left alone, and they like not to be violated.
uh, Once again, I really don't want people to feel like, we were shitting on anyone or we were bitching about people. Like we were really just pointing out genuine concerns that we have, and like things that I'm pretty sure a bunch of other people also observed.
Yeah, also to neutralize this, we can add some nice workplace experiences in this podcast, so that we, it seems like we are not actually bitching about people, we are just sharing how we felt at our workplaces.
Thing that I really appreciate about a certain extrovert people in the workplace is like does even if you're not friends and they find out that it's your birthday, they will make it a point to tell everyone. And it can be a bit overwhelming, but once like they tell everyone and they know just about everyone in the workplace, everyone else will be nice to you for the rest of the day, or they'll send you a wish, which they didn't have to, but it's nice that they did. It's nice that they made an effort.
Yeah, that it really feels good when it comes out of nowhere from someone you were not expecting, but which is always nice.
Yeah, that's true. And another thing is that there's like if someone's bereaving, like someone in their family passed away, extroverts make an effort to, like, they're usually the ones spearheading any gathering. So they're like normally the people who arrange for everyone to get together and go visit that person at their home, or to attend the funeral or whatever. Like that's something really nice about them, and something I really appreciate, because as an introvert it's hard for you to like
Yeah.
coordinate with everyone and find, like, for me normally I'll just send you a link to my schedule, like these are the days where I'm free, and just let me know whatever works. But they actually make an effort and convince other people to be flexible, like it's okay bro, it's just one weekend, if you don't spend it with your family, it's okay. We really should go to the funeral. Like that's something I really appreciate them. Like I really appreciate about them.
Yeah, that's something that actually fascinates me, how good they are at comforting people, for being there for them. At times these extrovert people have been really useful to me. I'm a little slow at my workplace. I'm usually behind my task, not because I delay it, just because my speed is natural speed of doing it is slow. So at times it happened that I was given a deadline, and it seemed nearly impossible for me to complete the task. And it was the times when these extrovert people reached out and they offered their help. I didn't ask to. It's not being me being an introvert. I didn't ask for their help, but they themselves noticed that I needed help, and I actually did need it. So they reached out to me and helped me with my tasks. So that's why I was spared of the whatever bad could come out of that. So yeah, and extrovert peoples are really useful and really nice at times, and I really appreciate that.
Yes, that's why extroverts end up in a lot of like positions where they're supposed to interact with other people. Like they'll end up in managerial positions, or they'll end up in HR. Time and place for everything. Like that's something they need to understand. Sometimes, you really just need to be left alone. And that's something like that's when extroverts need to take a hint. For example, if someone's upset, making a joke more isn't necessarily what they need at that point. Maybe all they need is just like 20 minutes of silence.
Yeah, mental health is something totally different for this generation. Maybe the people in the previous generation were not much aware about it, but in our current generation, it is really something. And everyone has their own state, their own status, their own score at their mental health. So if someone wants to be left alone in their mind, they should be allowed to, because that's what they need most at that time.
I guess that's why it's so important to have like these quiet places in workplaces where my workplace, they have one of these uh, like rooms where people go to just be alone. So I like really appreciate it because normally it's so loud. It's so loud and it can be overwhelming for me, but I normally just plug in my headphones when I'm working. But if even that doesn't work, like at least there is that room where you can just, take your laptop and just work in peace and work in silence until you feel like you've regained enough energy to join the rest of the people.
Yeah, I don't remember to have such quiet place in at the workplaces, but what you say seems really, comfortable in, just listening to it. And you know what I did in this last COVID crisis lockdown year? I tried to take a couple marketing jobs. Me, the introvert, tried to get into the marketing jobs, and guess what happened? I ended up quitting them in within the 2 days. It's just not my things to interact with a lot of people and make sales.
Yeah, like I understand. Like interacting with people can be a challenge if you're introverted. But like I know some introverted people who they don't have traditional marketing jobs, but they have like they're really good at telemarketing because like as an introvert you're normally more sensitive than normal people. So using that, they really understood the person that they were speaking to and they would interact with them in a way that would best suit them, so that really worked for them. Like it was a like a situation that was specifically like almost specifically catered to like an introverted marketer because they didn't have to deal with the pressure of meeting someone in real life. They only had to interact with them on the phone, and on the phone, being like an introverted empath, they had a really clear idea of how to address people to make them feel more comfortable because being super sensitive themselves, they were really perceptive.
This can be really fruitful when you have a selective market, because what I tried was telemarketing too, but you cannot avoid unnecessary interactions. Not all people you are going to interact are going to be nice. So an introvert like me just cannot deal with them, the unnecessary one. It's smooth when all the people you deal with, you make sales to are nice, but you cannot avoid the mass, the crowd, and they are big thing for introvert. So yeah, I ended up quitting the jobs within the 2 days.
And marketing can be a high stress job in itself, and like high stress jobs really aren't for a lot of people. A lot of people with high stress jobs aren't there because they enjoy what they're doing. For them, it's like a means to, because eventually you're going to get promoted, and then you can move on to doing what you really want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how many people actually dreamed of being a private accountant?
Some did.
Like not many, right? And that's why, like, for example, I'm just like giving accounting as an example, because um it's a job with really minimal human interaction, but it's still a very high stress job. And like people who work in accounts, their mental health suffers significantly compared to people who work, say, as a teacher, or someone who is, for example, a radio show host.
Yeah, sometimes the jobs with minimum interactions can be a stress too. I get your point.
So it's not it's not that, if a job meant for an introvert or an extrovert is like intrinsic, like is mm, a high stress job. Like basically the demands of the job are what make it high stress. It doesn't matter if it was better designed for, like, it caters more to an introvert or an extrovert. You need to appreciate
Yeah.
people for like their effort, regardless of whatever their personality, their like dominant personality trait is.
Yeah, people should be appreciated because not every job is for everyone, and still somehow people manage their tasks, their given tasks. So that should be really accounted for, and they should be appreciated. And it would be better if you appreciate if you appreciate them in terms of money, I guess.
Because like money is the biggest motivator, and like it's the greatest incentive you can provide to someone. Like the pandemic was one of the biggest examples, given how essential workers are normally the least paid. But essential workers are the people who had to go to work even in the pandemic and the lockdown, because we like society would fail to function without them.
Yeah, you are right. Actually, money is the biggest incentive, and that's the reason actually people are working their jobs. So small bonuses and little notes of appreciation could really motivate them to continue their job and even do it in a better way.
I guess like this is a pretty positive note to like end things on. So thank you so much for doing this with me. Like I really appreciate it, bro. Like thank you so much. And it's always a pleasure speaking to you, even though we don't normally, speak over the phone. And it was nice to hear your voice after such a long time.
Yeah, it was so nice. I'm so glad I could be a part of it, and I'm there anytime you need because that's what friends are for. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was really nice to speak my mind out at a platform where more people will be listening to it. Thank you so much for giving me this. Thank you.
and I'll definitely take you up on that offer, and we will definitely do this again.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll be happy to.